Just2Moms, and we are expert contributors to FamilyAffaires.com. And today we're going to kick off our blog and talk a little bit about what led us to our journey with children with autism. Debbie, tell me a little bit about your son and how you found out that he had autism.
I think my husband and I knew early on that there was something different, but we didn't know what that actually was until he was 3. He enjoyed listening to classical music at the age of 10 months, and everything from Italian opera to Andrea Bocelli, Sarah Brightman, all the greats.
Yeah.
And we knew that the challenges, I mean, it's not just that he enjoyed music and he played Play-Doh and squished his Play-Doh and listened to this great music. If you turned that music off, he had a really hard time with the transition, and he would throw things across the room, and his behaviors would escalate, and things would be really difficult. Changes in routines, we knew right away, very early on, anything from diaper changing to the bottle ending, leaving grandma's house, going to the supermarket, not going to the supermarket, all of these things were really, really difficult for him, and we just didn't know what that meant. But we knew it was different than my nieces and nephews, and we knew that those that are around us, it was certainly not something that we saw. And he was diagnosed, and it was actually a blessing,
Right.
because we would go to a party every year in December, the beginning of December, up in North Jersey. And when we went to this party, it was a whole bunch of kids, a lot of kids. They'd go out in the backyard, a big, big jungle gym. And most kids love going on somebody's jungle gym. Well, my son would sit in front of the bookshelf alone in the house while 30 kids sat in that backyard and played on the jungle gym. And every time I'd try to encourage him, he was 2 years old. The next year we'd go, he was 3 years old. And I would encourage him to go out and play, and he'd just want to sit and look at those books. And he was also an early reader. So he was reading by the time he was about 2, 2.5.
Wow.
So all of these advances, yet the challenges of his transitions were very obvious and very apparent. So we went home from this party, and not a week later, I got a call from the sister of the person who had the party.
Okay.
And she said to me, "I need you to sit down." And I said, "I'm sitting down." And she said, "I see you every year. I saw Jordan when he was 2. I saw him when he's now 3. And she said, I need to talk to you and your husband about something." And she told me she was a speech therapist pathologist. And as much as I knew about that, I mean, I could figure out what that field was, but I really didn't know what it encompassed.
Right.
So she explained to me that she saw things in Jordan that needed to be evaluated through our school system. And she didn't say the A word. She didn't say autism.
Right.
She didn't say anything further than he required to be evaluated. And I contacted the school, and within 21 days we were given the black and white paperwork of reading it.
Was it this thick?
It was pretty thick, yeah, and it was very eye-opening. It was really, it was our next path. That's what it was. And we didn't know what that path meant, but we knew now we could call it something. Right. And our school district was fabulous with a preschool program, giving him speech, OT, PT, and everything he needed. And I think the hardest thing for me was going to the Sunday before he started school and got on the bus, the small bus.
Right.
We had to go buy a backpack.
Right.
And that was the real moment when I knew at 3 years old, 3.5, he'd be going to school.
Yeah.
So it was tough.
Yeah, I know for us, I felt that way too. Getting him on that bus was so difficult. You know, when my son was little, he wouldn't take a bottle. He only nursed. I couldn't figure out why he wouldn't even take a cup. We had to do an open cup. He wouldn't take a sippy cup. You know, when you have the high chair and they try to get the kids to decide when they're all done eating, I could never figure out when this kid was done eating. He couldn't do that. All done.
Right.
He didn't wave. He didn't sing. He couldn't pair 2 words together in a sentence. So it became really, really apparent to me that something was going on. And I was watching a friend's child, and I saw that child was a year younger, yet doing things that my son couldn't do. And I had an older daughter, but there's 5 years between them.
Right.
Doctors and other people said to me, "Oh, he's a boy. Boys are different. You'll never, you forget. It's been that long time." And so it became apparent. I went kind of against my husband's wishes and had him evaluated by the school district. And they said, we might see behaviors in the autism spectrum. And we said, wow.
Yeah.
And I was relieved too. I really felt like, okay, I'm not the crazy one.
Right. Yeah.
I thought, what was I not doing right? Why was I parenting poorly? And it really was an eye-opening experience. And, again, early intervention at the school district was great. It really, OT, speech, small classroom size, did great things. So I think next time we won't be as heavy. And our video blog will talk more about other things with our kids and some of the great things they're doing, maybe even today.
Sounds great.